Hey guys, Joe here from FlexArm. I'm one of the territory sales managers and I cover the Northeast and all of Canada. We've got a tap demo for you here today. We're going to use a couple different units, show a handful of different taps. And so we'll be featuring our GHM 45 hydraulic tapping arm, as well as our A32 pneumatic tapping arm. And we'll go over some of the details here in just a moment. But with me today, I've got none other than special guest star Nick Kennedy, owner and president of FlexArm. How you doing today, Nick?
Oh, good. How you doing, Joe?
We're doing fantastic. We're doing
We're
fantastic.
gonna have some fun today.
Yeah. So first off, we're going to start with the GHM 45.
Yep.
We're going to do an 1.5 inch tap. And so Nick's going to go ahead and get that tap loaded into the machine here in a second.
So I've got the big 1.5 inch here. We'll just load it into the big gun. Clicks it in. So I'm gonna come down here. I think I have another camera. I'll show you guys the power unit in a second, but I'm gonna kick the power unit on. We've got it in gear 1, which is low gear. We are going to be running this at around 100 RPM. So you can see that here. I want to see.
I can man the camera.
Oh yeah. Why don't you show the folks, use that a little bit. So bring it up and over. Hey Tiffany, you grab a close shot with cam 1 there so we can get that. So we can show everybody. This one's fun to watch. All right, give me cam 1. You guys ready? So this unit, we're gonna be putting around 400 foot-pounds of torque. So I bring it over to the hole, we're gonna ride it on down. Blind hole, mild steel, all the way to the bottom. Clutches, hit reverse.
And the big thing, guys, for anyone who's ever ran a hand tap, he did that with one hand. I mean, it's
finger.
Absolutely effortless.
Let's do one more just for fun. Bring it over here. Run all the way to the bottom. Like I said, that's mild steel, blind hole. Just tons of torque. You know, if I had to do that by hand, you'd have about a 4-foot breaker bar. That'd be awful. But no, the other thing too, I mean, just against whether that hole is drilled or lasered, I mean, if I had to thread mill that, just the time savings doing it with the FlexArm, using these nice taps, it just makes it so easy.
Zero programming, you can just walk over and run your part.
Right, I'm doing it, so anybody can do it. So small taps, I'm gonna shift here. So if we can look here, I'm gonna shift to gear 2. We'll dial the RPM down a little bit. Do about 400. Gear 2. So what's cool about the unit is we can go from 1.5 inch all the way to 3/8, again with no adjustments.
So Nick, I noticed it's clutching out there at the bottom
yeah.
of each hole, but you didn't make an adjustment on the machine. How's that work?
Exactly. So all that, the clutch is built into the tap holders themselves. So we're able to seamlessly go from one to the other with no change out, no adjustments. And so it just adds to the versatility of the arm. And again, it's pretty massive. Let's show the difference. I'll put these on the table. You can see the massive difference between the two. So the one arm, we're going from 3/8 up to 1.5 inch, easily. No setup, nothing. So that's what makes it pretty fun and easy. But I'm gonna change this out here.
So while he's doing that, I'm gonna talk about some of the features on the arm. So these hydraulic units are, I mean, we're able to make tapping as simple as possible. So one of the big things on here, sorry, I turned the wrong way, Tiffany. That's my apology. So we've got our semi-tap lubrication system. So this is built in to every single hydraulic arm that we have. You can see the nut that's up here on the arm. There we go. We can pop this out and this becomes the reservoir for your lubrication. And then you've got the little lever here that you're gonna pull on, running an air line to this, and now all of a sudden you can run your lubrication right to the tap. It's gonna mist, it's not a flood cooler or anything like that. You're not gonna make a big mess. One of the big things that we've found though is that every time that I talk to an owner of a company and ask him about how the guys out in the shop are doing as far as lubrication, the comment that we always hear is that, well, they do it every time I'm watching them. More often than not, if you give somebody a gadget or something like that that's easy to use, they're not having to dip the tap, use a brush, a cup, anything like that. It just makes it a whole lot easier, and they get a more consistent. They use it more consistently. The reason behind it of using lubrication, plain and simple, you're going to save on tool life. It's going to just make your operation run smoother, easier. And so, like I said, it's a nice little feature that comes standard with the unit. Again, we've had a lot of good feedback from it.
So something, we'll move on quick. I've got the
Absolutely.
block set up here for NPT tapping, where we'll get to showcase depth control. I don't know if we've got the Cam 1's giving us a little bit of trouble today, it looks like. So I've got this in a fixed tap holder. This is a 3/4 14, so we'll just click it right in. I've got my depth stop set, hopefully. Actually, we'll see. And what that'll do is that'll allow me to go straight down to my desired depth. And I'm going to kick it in low gear. We're going to go back to low gear because the last hole we did was 3/8.
Right.
So we're going to go to low gear. I'm going to fire up the power unit. And I'm going to set the RPM. Because NPT taps are sensitive on the RPM, I'm going to set it to 82 RPM. So I've got the RPM set perfectly at 82. So we'll give it a little dip, and I'm going to bring it right over to the hole, and we're going to run it down. So you see that depth stop? It should hit off the vise to where it's set for. There's our depth. It's just an interrupter switch, so it interrupts the forward. So now all I can do is hit reverse, and now I've got the depth that I want.
And now by setting that, you're going to get a nice consistent result, right?
Oh, exactly, exactly. Let's take a look here. See if we need to adjust it at all.
Look at that.
We get the go, no go on it. Let's see. You come look at that flat over here. Hey, is Cam 3 working, Isaac? Oh, Joe, it's useless.
Well, then.
It's a good effort, though.
I thought they said it was good.
We'll try to get it with camera 1 here. You can see we're right there. The flat's right here on the backside, perfectly flush, so right to depth. And we're, like I said, we're able to achieve that with that depth stop there. So that's how you can consistently and successfully run big NPTs. So the arm's got the torque to do it, and the depth stop just makes setting the depth super simple.
And what's our max out on NPT with the GHM 45?
The 45 max, I mean, that was a 3/4. I've got, here I'll show you. I mean, this is 1.5 inches. So, I mean, I think we might be able to do 1.5 inches with it. It really depends on your material and the depth. Because there can be
that sounds like another video.
Now, we did this one last week,
Right.
but we should, I don't know if I have enough material. We'll run the NPT again. It's in a separate video if you want to check it out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and
Well,
we should
I was
show
going to
this
say,
off while we're at it.
while you have that in your hand, let's talk about that.
So G60, this is our biggest flex arm we have, pushes out over 800 foot-pounds of torque. And like I said, this has the big size 4 chuck, just like we have on the 45 there.
Yep. 2 inches in mild steel.
2-inch capacity mild steel. We did 1.5 inch NPT the other day very easily.
Right.
No issues. And I think we just did a demo with a 2-inch NPT with this, but the material was aluminum.
Gotcha.
So same quick change system, pop the tap in and out. It has the multi-head though, where I simply put whatever size I want to do, I put it in here.
Yep.
And then I bring it over to my workpiece, and it's going to follow it's going to follow the hole.
So the big question I would have is, what's a situation in which you'd want to be tapping horizontal?
Yeah, you know, a good example would be, let's say the part's long.
Okay.
Typically, if I can't fixture it up here or get a good reach on it, I need to lay it down on the table and approach it from the side.
Like long aluminum extrusion, things like that.
Absolutely. Those
Gotcha.
are great applications.
Perfect.
So, otherwise, sometimes it just depends on chip evacuation too. If I can allow the chips to fall straight out, it's preferred.
Yep.
Or you're going to use a spiral tap and pull the threads out.
So just one other thing about this, with that multi-position head, now this isn't just vertical and then horizontal.
Right.
We can hit at any angle.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the multi-head here, ideally, I'm going to do my setup so it's either vertical or horizontal, but there's no reason if I do a good setup that I couldn't set this at a 45 like this, and I can tap odd angles, no issues.
That's perfect.
Ideally, vertical, horizontal, but the multi-head gives you that capability and flexibility.
So a question I'd ask for anyone watching, do you do any tapping that's off of a vertical or horizontal orientation? Do you ever have to do something where tapping into an engine block or something like that, where you've got to go at a 30-degree angle or something like that? If anyone's out there doing it, let us know what your application is, because we always like to hear about that and find out different things that people are doing. That's the part that I think is most enjoyable for us, is finding those solutions.
Oh yeah,
for our customers. So
hey, show. Let's get a nice close-up of that. So before we move on,
yeah,
we can show everybody that guy. And what I'll do is let's get this. We'll do the A32, and we'll get this. Let's do this 45. We'll get it set up and do a horizontal tap. We'll do that next.
So you guys can see those nice threads all the way down to the bottom of the hole, and then these top two right here are where we've got our threading, but nice finish quality on there. You can see how quick it is to set it up. And this is something where we can, it's great for production runs to get a part out of your machine, let your big mill or your lathe do the work that it's good at, but you're not going to find a better solution than a FlexArm tapping arm. To get this stuff taken care of. Operator can be doing it instead of looking through the window at the part, because the machine already knows what it's doing.
Right. Right, just for quick tapping.
Exactly.
And that peace of mind that you're not going to snap the tap. So,
yes.
And let's bounce over to the A32. We'll get this guy set up for horizontal. We'll show you guys big horizontal tapping next with this guy. We're going to come over here. Let's see.
So A32 pneumatic tapping arm. We're looking at from 0 to 9/16 capacity. It's pushing about 28 foot-pounds of torque. This is one of our 400 RPM motors. We've got a couple different speeds, but when it comes to torque, we're trying to go with that 400 RPM every time so you can get up to that 9/16 capacity. So what sizes are we going to run first, Nick?
So today we'll start with, this is just the 1/4 inch through hole. So I like showing this one. So we'll put it in the vise. Need a handle.
While he's fastening that down, just a couple things about the A32. It's our most, what's the right word, cost-efficient model. This is our starter model, if you will. But really efficient. Anyone who's doing smaller parts, it's great. 34 inches of reach at the maximum. You're getting down to 11 inches from the base at the minimum. And then it's got its counterbalance weight that's right on it. You can loosen this up, slide it back and forth. You can see how the arm raises. Some people like it where it'll lift away from your project so that as soon as you're done, you can just let it go and it'll jump out of your way. But again, you can adjust that counterbalancing to what your specific needs are in that situation, operator's preference, all that.
So same quick change chuck, guys. Again, I'll show you it's fun to see the size difference. So we're going to be doing, this is a 3-flute OSG pointed tap for through holes. So this is just a through block, 1/4 inch. I think this is 1 inch thick. So we're going 4 times diameter, and we're going to plow right through this hole and show you how easy that is.
Is it good?
Again, pop it in, no setup, run straight down. So it's clutching out. I'm going to peck tap it in there, clear those threads. We're going to get it all the way through. There we go. But you saw that clutch working. That's exactly what you want it to do.
Now, before you put that away, so let's say that somebody's got to do some sort of treatment to it, like galvanizing.
Yeah.
And they need to go right back to that same hole.
Yeah.
I know that if you're in the shop and you've got your big machine set up, that's something that gets a little dicey sometimes.
Yeah.
So if you had to chase that hole What's that look like for
So
you?
yeah, no, chasing, real common application. Again, so now I'm not worried about breaking it so much, but I want the peace of mind that I'm not going to strip any of my threads out. So I let the arm do the work. I bring it over the hole, I run it on down, and it's gonna chase that perfectly. No, so after powder coat, after heat treat, maybe after weld, I want to clear out some splatter. That's a great application. And especially after galvanize on hard material, sometimes tapping or re-tapping a heat treated hole is just as hard as tapping it just as tapping it.
Yep.
So it's again, I want that clutch mechanism there just to help me from snapping those tabs. All right, so that's enough on the through holes. 4/4 inch.
Yes.
Let's do blind. A blind hole.
So for blind holes, let me bring this over here.
1/4 inch, a small blind hole. So again, 1 inch thick, steel, blind.
Sorry, Isaac, I can bring that right up here.
I've got the phone. Oh, it's a little unfocused there. There we go.
So you can see how the end of the tap is squared off to make sure that you get your threads all the way down to the bottom of that blind hole.
Well, something I like to show off too is just how easy it is to get these taps in and out. So that bevel washer, I push it down, you push the balls out of the way, and then it simply slides in and out. And then the tap shank in the square, it seats right in.
Too easy.
So it really is. So here's same deal, the blind hole. It's going to give a little lubrication there. I bring it over to my hole and run it on down. Clutch at the bottom, hit reverse. And it's a done deal. We'll do another one for good measure.
And as you can see how effortless this is, one of the big things that people come to us for is quite literally that they're breaking taps. It's different operators doing different things. If they're hand tapping, if it's in the machine, but the fear is that you're always, people are trying to get away from breaking taps. That always comes at the end of an application. That's not the first thing that you're doing.
No, unfortunately.
So it's not just the broken tooling, it's also the time that you lose. It's all the part that's 90% of the way of being completed to turn over to your customer, and now you lost the part.
And I should make Joe hand tap a hole because he loves it so much.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna chase one.
Now, all right. Hey, Jacob's chuck, before we grab the 3/8 here.
Yes.
Cool accessory, any arm. I pop it in. I've got the a chamfer bit in this case. So here I can just do prep, all my prep work. I put a reamer in there, a drill. It's just a great quick change tool. I can put anything in there. I just wouldn't put a tap in there. I've seen guys do it, but
Well, you lose the whole
clutch.
torque clutching.
So we'll come over here and hit a couple holes. You see, again, the positioning, the effortlessness. I mean, it's just, I run it right over to the hole, and now I have perfectly chamfered holes. Beautiful.
And so, what are some other tools that you'd turn to the Jacob's chuck that you see most often? Reamers?
Yeah, I'd say the most often is a reaming application. You know, let's say I'm taking 15 to 20 thousandths out just to size the hole.
Yep.
And I don't have one over here, but I would put a dead handle on the arm just to help with some of the downward pressure. And now, you know, it guarantees that the tool's going to be straight.
Yeah.
And you can, you know, I still have to apply the downward pressure, but you know the tool's straight, and I can get a quality hole. So.
And what we should note is that we've got 3 different sizes of Jacob's chucks. You've got 3/8, half-inch, and 5/8 capacity. That's our 3/8 right there.
I'm gonna put it back here since that's what the camera's looking at. Got a little overzealous.
But great little tool to just make every process easier. And again, no programming. You can quite literally just put in whatever tooling you need into the end of the arm and run the part without any fear of breakage or lack of perpendicularity, all that.
Lack of perpendicularity. All right, guys. So, and again, just to show another change out, here's just a through hole. I've got a nice OSG spot, 3 flute tap here. Yep. And we're going to push those threads all the way through. So we should be able to see them come out the back side there. And so I pop it in. I'm going to bring it right over. Let's see. We'll run it on down. All the way through.
And you can see those threads just pushing right through the bottom. Nice finish quality on that.
Gorgeous. Hey, so I think over here, the last thing to maybe show off would be the question would be, hey, well, how do I do horizontal tapping on this guy?
Sure.
So and we've got this.
We've got it right underneath, right?
Handy dandy.
It's our horizontal adapter. And it's not as fast of a change out as it is with the hydraulic units with that multi-position head, but quite literally we just loosen up the 2 bolts, pull your motor out, and then the top of the horizontal adapter slides right into the tool mount, and then you just put your motor into the bottom portion of it, and then that allows you to get your horizontal tapping with the smaller pneumatic unit.
So it can be done, and it's simple change out, really easy. Again, just give this flex arm that versatility. The one arm can literally do all the tapping that comes up in your shop.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it such a nice little tool.
Yep.
So I think Adam's got us ready to do some horizontal tapping.
Well, so just one other part to touch on while we're over here and we have it in front of us would be, so we've talked about internal threading. We can also use die holders and do some external threading. So if you've got a part, I'll give you a second here to get over to it, Tiff, sorry.
She's trying.
I kind of sprang that on you.
And then we're gonna do we'll do a video, a live stream, a couple weeks, I think, where we're gonna set up and do a bunch of external threading applications, just to show how it's done with the flex arm, and how fast and easy it can make that process too.
Yep.
Again, for chasing and or threading from scratch. So
Perfect.
Alrighty, let's make the move. Grab the little handheld.
Yes. Slide around here for you.
Let's see here. I'm actually going to seat this thing down in there a little bit better. We'll make sure
you got a good hold of it.
Yeah, you never, like I said, 400 foot-pounds of torque. You don't want that thing slipping out of the vise. All right, so we've got the arm repositioned. You see, so now I've got this joint loose, so that way it can easily follow the hole. I'm in gear 1, so I'm gonna fire up the power unit, guys. We're in gear 1, we're validating everything. Let's go forward. Get my RPM set back up here. I want to do 100 RPM into the hole. Bring it down in. And we're just going to let it eat, and it's going to walk itself in. We're going to hear that same clutch at the bottom. And reverse.
Thing of beauty.
So we could keep driving that in. If I had a longer tap, I mean, we could drive that thing in 6-8 inches deep if we wanted to. Just too easy. And I think, guys, I mean, that's...
Well, so the power unit that you're working on here. So this is a 480 volt power pack.
Right.
When you're adjusting that speed on there, let me slide over to the other side of you so that we can show that off real quick. So we've got 2 different potentiometers down here, guys. Left one is for forward, and you can hear how he's adjusting that. The right one you don't hear as much until he's actually running the unit in reverse, and then you can see him adjusting it there. The benefit of that, you can be going into a hole at 100 RPM and then decide that you want to back out a little bit quicker because the cutting's already done. So just another nice little standard feature with these units that just make them the best fit. It really is. But anyway,
I think that's about it. That's all I have for the demos for the day. As long as other than that, guys, I think we'll close it out. I know next Friday we're doing flow drilling on the big Flex CNC.
Yes.
So that's something you're not going to want to miss. I don't have the flow drill handy, but it's literally the size of this tap holder right here. And we're going to be running that. It's literally going to be making molten metal on the machine. So that'll be something fun to tune into. And after that, guys, we will be pushing out more of these live streams to show you a ton of different capabilities and bringing in some experts to talk about drills, taps, dies, reamers, you name it. And and we'll keep pushing the message. So do like and subscribe the channel, please.
Please.
And we can't wait to see you next time. Joe, anything else?
No, we're also doing a lot of different, not necessarily the Friday videos are kind of our bigger featured videos, but we've also got opportunities where with our dealers, partnering with them. So we want to know what you guys want to see. If there's a tapping demo or there's something on the Flex CNC that you would love to have us do, please let us know. You know, we're coming up with some of this stuff just based on what we've seen from trade shows that people like to see. But we're always curious to find out, you know, what do you, the viewer, want to see when we're doing these? Because, I mean, they're live demonstrations. They're not for us. They're for you.
Well, I want to run a 3-inch tap. That's next. We're going to see how big we can go. We're going to get a 3-inch tap. I've never seen one. But I want to get one.
If that's something that you want to see, make sure to make a comment in there about, you know, 3 inches or something to that effect.
I think we're going to try
because we'd love to. We want to know what you guys want to see. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.
Till next time.